Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Sports Buffoons are finally back. We got our boys Tanner Dawson over here to my side and Jason JG. What's going on, guys?
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, yo? Good to be back here in the KC.
Absolutely. As you guys can see, we have switched it up a little bit. We now have a brand new Sports Buffoon Studios location. We're still in, Kansas City area. We're in Lenexa now instead of Overland Park. So subtle change. As you guys know, those two cities kind of connect. So not that much of a difference. As you can see, we're still rocking it with the Mahomes, of course, as well as. Of course. We got Tanner. You got some good Royals gear going on up here. What do you think of that?
I know you're probably kind of shocked that I have good Royals gear, but I also got some good Chiefs gear, and not enough Jayhawk stuff, guys. But we'll leave that to a different time.
Yeah, I don't know about the Jayhawk stuff. I don't know if I want to get into that whole ball game, especially with football season being at the forefront, since KU does not have a football team. So Jason, how was your guys' past week? We've been off air for the last 2 weeks. You did do a solo you put out, which was awesome, back when you were in Lake Tahoe on vacation. And here we are. Tell me, how was your trip?
It was a great trip. Had a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking to you guys out there on my solo. It hurts me a little bit that we can't talk NBA on this show, but I just did. So we'll leave that for another day.
Well, the NBA is going to be put on the back burner here for a while, as you guys know. With Chiefs training camp being underway now, we are a full week into camp. We are now 2 days into padded practices. The Buffoons here ourselves will be at Chiefs training camp as of Thursday morning. So we will be at camp tomorrow. Very excited to see how things are running because we were not there last year due to the COVID situation, and we have an opportunity once again to go back. And really, we're going to be there for you guys as well, the audience. We're going to be taking some notes. We're going to be seeing, maybe we might even do a little video feed for the Twitter out there and also the YouTube. So look out for that. We do want to give you guys as much and as in-depth detail as we can as our experience with training camp unfolds. So what are you guys drinking before we hit on some Chiefs, fantasy, and we have a pack opening for Jason Grayson here in a little bit.
I got me a little Knob Creek going on here, a little whiskey. But, of course, we got to start with whiskey to start the new venue and new setup. So you always got to go strong.
Yep. So I'm going to go with the Buzz Balls. Chalk teas.
Chalk teas.
Pretty sure it has vodka, but I don't really care what's in there. I'm just going to drink it anyway.
Sounds appealing to me. I have a Buzzball as well myself, actually. You talked me into it. We went to Gomer's a little bit ago, and I got the Strawberry Rita Buzzball, so I'll be trying that out at some point during the show. But at least for now, I guess I'm going to have a little bit of whiskey at the moment. So, you guys, it's a 1 hour show. I mean, we got to load up here.
You got to have drinks.
Got to have all of our drinks loaded up. We are the Buffoons. We are here to entertain as well as sip on some good stuff as well with you guys. So, guys, let's kick it off here. Chiefs camp, like I said, is underway. We've obviously seen a few things here. I think Andy Reid has mentioned this week he's actually very happy with how things are going within camp. And that guy being obviously a very seasoned coach, been around the game for a long, long time now. I mean, going on almost 40 years, going back to his days as an O-line coach for Mizzou Tigers. Here he is now. It is, I think, how many years now as a head coach? 24? 23?
23.
23 years as a head coach now in the NFL. And he has no complaints yet to this point. Now, this team here is going to look a little different in some situations, I believe, because obviously, as we know, Sammy Watkins is no longer part of the receiving group. And for me, that's something to definitely watch out for, because if you guys remember in the past, when Watkins has been missing games due to injury, the Chiefs have had problems actually in those games receiving-wise. The offense was less productive without Sammy Watkins on the field. And so having a whole season of that, at least now we have some guys now in the mix after Tyreek Hill that need to step up.
Correct.
Mecole Hardman absolutely needs to step up. And it's not to say he's played bad by any means at this point in his career, but 2 years in a row now, had over 500 yards receiving. Last year, this is our deep, he's a burner. He's a burner next to Tyreek. And last year just had 4 touchdowns, and 49 was his longest catch of the season, 49 yards that is. I just think that between Byron Pringle, who for a career now has 2 touchdowns and just 25 catches. Demarcus Robinson, who I think we need to see more consistency from. Obviously, he's got some issues with some drops. Not exactly the quickest guy by any means on the field, but he's got 11 touchdowns for a career, and I think like 3 of those came in one game against the Raiders at one point.
Yeah.
I just think that at this point, when you look at this receiver roster the Chiefs currently have, one of these guys needs to step up. And I don't know if you've paid attention or heard anything what's going on in camp, but I'm just curious to see what you guys think about who's going to take over and become a legitimate number 2 weapon in this Chiefs offense, because we need another 1,000-yard receiver to go with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill cannot go do it all on his own. I mean, he could put up 1,500 yards, but who's going to put up 800 to 1,000 yards next to him as a WR2? Who was that guy in your guys' opinion?
Yeah, I would say, Demarcus Robinson, we know he's been doing some good things in camp right now. But for me, it's got to be McCole Hardman. And the reason I say McCole Hardman is because, first of all, he's fast as fuck. But second of all, Andy Reid really trusts the guy, I feel. He's comfortable putting him into high-leverage situations. He's done that before. So for me, the guy that needs to step up, and I believe he will step up, is McCole Hardman.
I agree. I think Hardman has the potential. He has the ability. Obviously, we've seen the talent, and he's improved every year, especially route running was a big question mark when he was coming into the league, and he's gone tremendously better. But I think our issue is there might be a confidence issue with Mecole because just he hasn't had the opportunity the last couple of years that he thought he should. Demarcus Robinson had way more targets and way more chances of doing stuff than Hardman. So I think this year, Hardman knowing that, hey, I can make a big impact on this team, and I think he will. And we've seen it in camp. He's made some nice sideline catches. If you watched any of the highlights, he's been a really part of the highlight film, which is awesome to see. Is what we want to see. He's getting open. He's making the hard catches, which is exactly what you need to do with Tyreek Hill on the other side and Travis Kelce right there. So I think Hardman is going to be a great step. He's going to have a great stepping stone season. But watch out for Callaway. Antonio Callaway came from Cleveland, speedster, right? Just like Hardman, just like Hill. The guy has actually been. Andy Reid was talking about him. Bieniemy talked about him as well. They're liking what he's seen. Even Patrick Mahomes likes what he sees. So if Callaway can keep out of trouble, he could be a sneaky maybe 3-4 receiver that eventually could turn into a number 2 on this team.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs could keep 6 receivers this year without a doubt, because if you look at the depth chart right now, Antonio Callaway actually is behind Mecole Hardman on the depth chart according to Orlad's. And so with the mix right now, you got Cornell Powell, obviously will make this roster. It's our, big physical kind of guy, but also he calls himself a playmaker. So, and we've seen some of his highlights, obviously from Clemson, and I think the guy does have some ability down the field to make some plays, as well as have a big rocked-up body, to be physical as well, as far as in the blocking game, running an outside sweep. I think he can be involved in that, because here's the problem, Tanner, the Chiefs have ran into in the past is that Mecole Hardman is undersized, and you have now 2 undersized receivers as your WR1, WR2. And so Tyreek Hill, obviously, we already know he's not necessarily going to be your blocking receiver like Sammy Watkins. Like Sammy Watkins was. Sammy Watkins was a great blocker and is a great blocker in the National Football League as a receiver. And that's one of those things we would see them run to his side a lot because they knew they could rely on him to block and be able to take out a corner in that situation when you're going to the outside. When you have Hardman and Tyreek on the field, I'm assuming it's going to be an inside play as far as in the run game if you're going to run at all. Otherwise,
those are 2 liabilities at blocking by itself.
Yeah.
But I think that's also where you're going to see more of a 3 tight end package come into play, and they're going to run away from that direction. They might have Tyreek maybe on that blocking side, but outside of that, I don't think you're going to see Hardman do much blocking at all.
It's a lot of rotational things going on based on situational gameplay. Pringle, obviously, is a big-bodied guy as well. So between DeMarcus, who I think is actually a decent blocker, that's part of why he gets as much playing time as he does. And then Powell, and then Pringle, and then we'll see how Callaway turns out, because obviously he's a guy who's had some off-the-field concerns. That's why the Browns let him cut loose, and he's a guy trying to rejuvenate his career, but also has shown in the past he has ability to make plays as well. So,
Yeah, exactly.
He's a guy. Any surprises you guys think as a receiver that could make this team or make this roster? Because Garrett Dieter has been rooming with Mecole Hardman throughout training camp to this point. So I want to see if Garrett Dieter could maybe make this roster.
If you're talking
for all
that
year.
there's potential of keeping 6, yeah, Dieter could sneak his way onto this. Unfortunately, I think it's the end of the road for Marcus Kemp project.
Even with the special teams
Even
ability,
with the
you think he'd
special
be
team ability, I think if you're going to keep that many receivers, you can't, like with all the depth that you need on the defensive side alone, you can't keep a Kemp, a Dieter, a Callaway, a Pringle, a Powell, a Robinson, a Hardman, a Hill. That's just too much. Unfortunately, I think Kemp's on his way out. He also has kind of I love his confidence, but he's also kind of showboating in a way, thinking he's better. Like today, he did a Randy Moss style, where he thought, hey, toss me the ball over Snead. Well, Snead intercepts it.
Oh, yeah.
So, you can't be doing those kind of dumb plays on a training camp that, hey, you're probably going to be walking.
Yeah, there's a chance for that. And I saw, Tanner, you put out on our Instagram page, as a matter of fact, your own depth chart. Is that right?
Yeah, throughout the social media.
Your own, basically, 53-man roster. Is that right?
I did. I did after week 1, a little 53-man roster with some. So I had Kemp cut, Dieter cut, in the receiver ranks. I had Callaway, Pringle, Powell, and Robinson and Hardman all making the team with Hill, of course. So, as far as receiver goes, that's kind of how I'm seeing things roll out, just from a depth standpoint, right?
Yeah, and I agree with you. There's no way they're going to be able to keep all of those guys. I just like the fact that those guys are able to compete, especially now with you got Tyreek Hill battling knee tendonitis, and that's not supposed to be a serious injury, but they're not going to let him do a whole lot, going forward in camp. So I like the competition. All these guys are getting a chance. And we're going to see what they can do, but we're not going to be able to keep all those guys moving forward.
Yeah, there's just too many kind of a mixed bag, I think, in that situation. Correct. But I have another question for you, actually, Jason JG here. So as you can see, the Chiefs' offensive line and how they're kind of maneuvering things, the first couple days of training camp, the Chiefs went in with the offensive line with having Mike Rimmers at right tackle. And now there's some concerns, or questions, I should say, more accurately, is that the Chiefs could have, honestly, an entire right side of the offensive line being basically essentially rookies. Is that something that concerns you? Because right now we're looking at Orlando Brown Jr. at left tackle, Joe Tooney at left guard, we have Creed Humphrey, the rookie from Oklahoma, at center, Trey Smith as well from Tennessee, who was a late round pick, but the sixth rounder, but the staff loves Trey Smith, and the dude has played great in pads the last 2 days. So I cannot wait to go see him on day 3 in pads.
He's holding his own against Frank Clark, Chris Jones, everybody really. He's actually been doing really well, and he today made Taco Charlton look like nothing.
This might be a steal. But then at right tackle, remove Mike Rimmers, and Lucas Nyang is now working at right tackle, and he opted out due to COVID last season, and this will essentially be his rookie season. So is this something that surprises us, or surprises you, Jason? I want to ask you in particular, because I'm just curious to think, is this going to be an issue? Because we saw Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl have to run behind the line of scrimmage for 496 yards. Behind the line of scrimmage, scrambling. We can't have that happen again. I think this offensive line is depth. I think it's got nastiness to it, and I think it looks better by far than it did last year, because we had a bunch of weak little dudes. Not going to lie. Andrew Wiley, no offense, I like you, man, but you're just not cut out, in my opinion, to be starting on this offensive line.
No.
So is this going to be an issue, Jason?
I mean, it's not an issue for me. I mean, we all know that Mike Rimmers, basically, he's not that good. But I love the addition of Orlando Brown Jr., and to me, that makes all the difference in the world. And like I said on my solo podcast last week, I mean, if you put Orlando Brown Jr. on that offensive line during that Super Bowl game last year, I think the Chiefs win the game. I think it would have been close, but I think they win the game. But, yeah, I mean, I don't have huge concerns right now over the offensive line just because they've improved it so much.
No, yeah, this line is going to be a total 360 than what we're used to. Past years, we're like, we might be pretty good.
You mean a 180, Tanner?
Oh, 180. Sorry. Yeah, 180.
Helping you out there.
Thank you, Mike. So it's just going to be totally different, guys. So in past years, I mean, we can go us back as far as we want to the 03 team. That we're like, we got guys returning, right? There's chemistry. There's there's something there that's going to keep whoever the quarterback may be, protected. Well, obviously last year, a lot of those returners did not do well, and then injury bugs hurt. Remmers went to left tackle, obviously, in the Super Bowl, and we all know what happened there. But I think with Remmers, I could see a right side being all rookies just by the fact also on health. So Niane right now is getting a lot of reps. He's going against Clark. He's going against Jones. He's getting a lot against Jones right now, and he's actually holding his own pretty well on some of the highlights I've seen. Jones isn't completely blowing it up, but he is enough to where Patrick's able to get the throw off. Now Mike Remmers is battling some back spasm issues as of this past few days. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Like, do you want the guy to be able, your every down right tackle again, to have back issues like Mitch Shorts last year? Or do you want a guy like Niane who had to sit out but who's still really talented, still really in shape, and did a lot of off-season works? I think you are going to see a right side, center, and then right guard, right tackle be essentially rookies. And you're going to see a whole new version of the way Reed and Bieniemy run different plays.
And what do you mean by that? Do you think they're going to run plays?
I think you're going to see a lot more of a run game happening. So, like, between the running backs we have right now, Williams is going to get a lot of work. Hilaire and McKinnon are all going to get a lot of you're going to go to the right side. Trey Smith, Niane alone are brawlers. Like, those guys are monsters.
Well, think about this, Tanner. The Chiefs have always been a misdirection team.
Correct.
And Andy Reid schemes that up very, very well. He's the best, in my opinion, that I've ever seen do it, as far as misdirection, scheming things open. And a lot of that has been offensive line work, where he's literally – I think Andy Reid's known the offensive line's been weak at times, and he will scheme up plays to help basically accentuate the qualities that they do have and then hide the flaws in the run game at times. Trap plays here and there, stuff like that. This is an offensive line that can be more of a power scheme, and that is not something that the Chiefs have ever had since Andy Reid came to town. So it's going to be a different kind of ball game for sure.
You know what else this offensive line is set up to be right now? Is a line with depth. When's the last time we had a line with depth?
Since Andy Reid came here, never.
No, never.
This is the first time.
Like, at center, you could have is it Andre Blythe? Yeah, Andre Blythe.
Austin
Blythe, thank you. So you get a Blythe potentially play center and guard. So that's a dual threat right there in case Smith goes down and, maybe LTD gets cut like I had predicted.
We like versatile players here.
Yeah, and that's what we want to see. Wiley can kind of do the same, but that's why you have Remmers as well. Remmers came into this team as a right guard. And then he moved into the right tackle when Shorts went down because we had no real other option. And then there was nobody else you're going to put at left tackle. So, unfortunately, he had to be the left tackle. And that's a total different position by itself. So, Remmers is another guy I think we're going to keep as well. Unless the back issues really get crazy, which I doubt it does. It's just spasms right now. So, I think Blythe and Remmers are a lock. They might be for depth, but I think they're a lock to be on the team just because they can play somewhere around the position. I think I don't know about you, Mike. If you look at the left side, though, for depth, we're not looking as great. We have Durant, Allegretti, really.
Right? But here's the thing: there's flexibility within the offensive line now because obviously
Blythe can play either guard side, and he's done.
And Lucas Niang has worked as far as in the off season.
Yes.
As a left tackle as well. He's been making left tackle movements. He's been working on the footwork when it comes to throughout the offseason. So this is something he's not completely new to, and so keep that in mind. So even if Lucas Niang is starting at right tackle to begin with, if it comes to a situation where Orlando Brown does have an injury at some point, I think Niang can go over there at some point if that's what's needed because he's been working on that. That's one of those things. He moved, because he was originally drafted kind of a guard tackle hybrid. They weren't really sure where they were going to use him yet. He's officially at this point a tackle, and they want him to be a right tackle because I think he's the best man at right tackle for the job. But I think at the same time, if something happens to Orlando Brown, Niang can move to left, and at that point you have a right tackle with Remmers at right tackle, and then from down the list, Andrew Wiley. So I think right tackle has more depth than left. But
if they keep Kyle Long can also play the right side.
I think they're gonna keep Kyle Long on PUP for as long as they can.
I think so too.
And because going into the season, they could still keep him on the roster while keeping him on PUP at the same time. So I think that'll be something to watch out for, without a doubt.
So who's your surprise cut though on that line? Because you can't keep everybody. From my surprise kid, it was Tardif, the doctor, Canadian doctor.
Yeah, and I'm surprised the Chiefs typically do keep as little offensive linemen as they do every year. Normally it's like 7 or 8 guys is how many offensive linemen the Chiefs keep every season, which to me is like risky because especially in the past, where they've had no depth, I'm like, good Lord, please don't go down Eric Fisher because, if Eric Fisher was to get injured, the Chiefs were screwed at left tackle, and he luckily stayed healthy.
See, and right now I was potentially keeping 10 total.
10 offensive linemen? That's
but
gonna be
at
rough.
the same time, if I look at this list again, I go down the way. Yeah, as we talk more and more, I think we're going to keep 8.
Chiefs keep 2 quarterbacks this year: Chad Henne,
Correct.
Patrick Mahomes.
Correct.
The other 2 guys currently at training camp right now. You got Anthony Gordon, and you got Shane Bouchele, who I don't even know if we care how to properly pronounce that
Is
name.
he related to Bobby Boucher?
Might as well.
No.
Shane Boucher.
It's the old Carolina quarterback son.
Well,
I can't remember his name to say my life.
we're not concerned about him, but he's not going to be on the roster at the end of the training camp. So,
obviously not.
all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how those things unfold. We'll know more because with training camp goes along. We have our first preseason game, obviously on August 14th. Is that right?
Correct.
So it'll be that evening, that night, Saturday night, I believe. And I'm looking forward to that a lot. We only have 3 games to work with this season, and so that's going to be fun to watch and look forward to because everything matters more now. So guys have to, guys that are on the fringe, like the Gary Dieters of the world or the Antonio Callaways, they got to step up and make plays.
Oh.
They have a couple shots to make it happen. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. That's it.
That's it.
You don't have 4 games to work with. You have 3 now, so everything is more amplified. So one more thing before we move on here, but I want to talk a little bit about the defense currently. We saw recently here a couple days ago the linebackers stepping up through training camp. Willie Gay Jr. has obviously been marveling a little bit here recently.
Yep.
We've been seeing some of his athleticism, and that's great. We needed that to happen because this was a guy that came in very raw coming into the Chiefs, and we all wanted to see more of him, obviously, throughout the season, but I honestly believe he was not ready. I believe he was not ready for the full load, and now he's going to be a starter for this team from day one, as well as Nick Bolton, who I think has now 2 interceptions in training camp in team drills.
I thought he was up to 3.
He might be up to 3 now. I don't know.
Because he's stepping in the lane and he's taking care of business there.
And that's great. We're seeing these guys fly around a little bit.
Want.
And here's the thing: the weakness of the Chiefs' defense to me is the linebackers, and it has been the linebackers, which is why when the Chiefs. I love what they did. They addressed the offensive line because it was weak. Addressed the linebackers right away with Nick Bolton from Missouri because that was weak, and they know it. And they let Damian Wilson go, which was fine. It's not going to hurt the team by any means. Bolton is a rangy linebacker. Obviously has coverage skills as we've seen now at this point. But I think he's a good run stopper too. And so I think Bolton's going to make an impact on this team without a doubt. I think it's going to be a tough battle to see who's kept at that point because I think you're going to keep, without a doubt, Hitchens, keep Willie Gay, keep Nick Bolton, Ben Neiman stays, but then, you keep DOD, but I think Darius Harris is cut without a doubt. But you had him.
I think
you had him on the roster. And
Andy Reid and Spags both like the guy, and he's always staying on the team for whatever reason.
I know.
I can just see, they're looking at linebacker depth, and linebacker depth, you really don't got a lot of guys that can make work right now. And that's, Harris, unfortunately, just might be that, I hate to say it, but a default guy on keeping it. Now, you could get rid of Harris and with DOD and Bolton and Gay and Hitchens and Neiman, but you're also looking at possibly losing depth in the outside linebacker spot as well if you use that. So it's a real toss-up. It's really hard to pick that linebacking core right now. Obviously, we know Gay. We know Bolton. I could see Bolton starting right off the bat as well, along with on the side of Hitchens and Neiman. But then, after that, DOD, and he's been struggling during camp right now.
But he's still a special teamer that sticks on the team.
Correct.
He's been on the team now for 4 years.
So, but you have to use DOD this year, unlike last year. And so who else is left? It's Harris. Harris knows the defense. Harris knows back stuff. And unfortunately, like I said, he's more of a default guy, if anything.
I have a question for you, Jason, actually, here. Looking at the transition we've had from Chris Jones now going from defensive tackle now to end, what kind of impact do you think that's going to make on the team? Because I think the addition of Jerron Reed was the ultimate decision maker to help the Chiefs move Chris Jones to the outside because they're going to need pass rush from the outside. Frank Clark's still up in the air of what's going to happen there. We don't really know fully what's going to happen, but And also after that, Alex Okafor has been injury prone. Mike Dana,
hamstring again today.
Right, exactly. He's back on the injury list. So add that to once again his career at this point. But I love the inside because we have Derek Nottie, Jerron Reed, Kalen Saunders is still part of this team, and then Tershawn Wharton can still play interior as well as move outside. Let's wait and see. If we what else.
I got him on the outside.
I think he should be a DN to me,
right behind Jones.
But how do you think, Jason, that Chris Jones at D end works out with a little bit slimmed down in practice and training camp? He has been looking amazing.
Yes.
He was destroying Joe Tooney today in practice.
Well, the main thing that excites me the most is the same thing that excites Spags the most, and that's the fact that Chris Jones, he's going to play multiple spots, and I like the versatility of the defense right now.
Yeah.
And so that's what excites me the most. You're going to have L'Jarius Sneed playing inside on most downs, and so it's all about the versatility for me.
Yeah, that's the thing, because if you guys remember back when Spagnuolo was defensive coordinator, or I think it was head coach actually at that point of the Giants.
Yeah, he was head coach.
But they had a package called the NASCAR package. And the Chiefs have done something similar in the past. He's been with the team for a bit now. This is going on year 3. But basically, send all your pass rushers out there on the D-line for the front 4 and just rush the passer. Because if it's like 3rd and 10, put on your D-line, get out there. Chris Jones at DN, Frank Clark at the other side. And then on the inside, you're going to put Tershawn Wharton and Jerron Reed on the inside. And you got a pass rushing freaking insane. Like, I don't know, what do you say about that?
You can't double team anybody.
No,
I hope he does that. I would love to see that.
And then
That'd be insane.
I honestly still believe Willie Gay could be used off the edge at times too, because of the speed and athleticism Willie Gay has. I mean, we've already seen him a little bit in camp and coverage and all that, but I think if you put him on the edge where you're getting, like, with Chris Jones, you can't block him one-on-one that well. That's not going to be an easy thing. But imagine lining up Willie Gay next to Chris Jones and rushing the pass or rushing 5 on a blitz. I mean, that's going to be difficult for any quarterback to have to deal with, an offensive line to have to protect.
And Spags had a conference today. He finally got to talk, and I've been waiting for him to talk all camp, so he finally got to chat. Mm-hmm. He talked about Jones moving along the line, too.
Yeah.
Jones ain't going to just be in the one spot. Jones could be over in Frank Clark's spot, and Frank Clark could be over in Jones' spot. They could be swapping. Jones could be in the middle with Reed, back-to-back. So you could have a Jones-Reed defensive tackle combo going on, Clark on one side, and possibly Wharton or Taco Charlton on the other, like blitzing too. Like Jones is going to be all over the spot, and that's going to be somebody that the offensive line for the other team is going to have to watch for, because you put him with anybody else with Clark's on Clark's side. I mean, you have to have at least 3 blockers for that side, if not 4, to even get by it. But that frees up the other side with Charlton or even possibly Reed freeing up on the rush. So, like, this defensive line, we may see it some way, but Spags, you could see in the conference in his mind, he's having so much fun with all the athletes right now along that line. He's like, oh yeah, I don't even know what's going to go on. Like, we're going to be all over the place with Jones, and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be fun to watch, and we already know Spagnuolo being creative is going to make an impact on the team without a doubt. So. And one more question for you guys before we move on here, because I do want to talk about a little bit of the Colts situation for a moment. But do you guys think that there's a chance that we're overlooking Bo Pete Keys at this point? Because, I mean, the guy was obviously a late-round pick from last year. The Chiefs do have some questions at cornerback. They have a very young group. Tre'Davious Ward is still the left corner. Obviously, L'Jarius Sneed is now going to be moved to be starting at the other side, with the idea is that Mike Hughes would be the nickel right now. I love those guys all together, especially Sneed, and I like Mike Hughes at nickel. DeAndre Baker was on the injury report today. Once again, that's one of those things we don't want to see happen. But, I'm just curious, like, if is it a thing where Bo Pete Keys can make this team coming in as the, 6th, 7th corner? So I don't know if he can make it, but he's a guy that I think does have still athletic ability coming in at, 6'1", 202 pounds. I mean, we're in that 29 looking like Eric Berry out there in training camp so far. So we want to see some more of that out of him, see if he make the team.
I don't think Bo Pete makes the team. I don't think there's enough spots. There's just not enough spots in that secondary. You got Devon Keys, or Devin Key, or whatever you want to call him, from Western Kentucky, the undrafted free agent, who's working in the secondary. And Spags was raving about him. He says, man, this is one of a kind of each move right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just killing it right now. So, I mean, you got him stepping up. I heard about Clemens the other day on one of the conferences, how Matthew was loving that guy. Like, there's a lot of talent, again, in the secondary. And this could actually, if we keep Bo Peep Keys, though, this could kick Armani Watts out of the secondary.
Yeah, and I'm actually okay with that at this point.
Yeah, so you would keep Key, kick Armani Watts out, and I mean, there's so many different combinations. But as of this moment here, I don't think Bo Peep quite makes the full 53. He might get called up later due to potential, injuries that may happen.
Mm-hmm.
He might be a practice squad guy if he stays on the practice squad that long to begin with.
Yeah, I'm okay with all that. I mean, I'd be fine with getting rid of Armani Watts at this point, just because he's been given opportunities at this point, and we have not seen enough. He's not stepped up when things really come down to it. So, anyways, guys, I'm really excited for going out to camp tomorrow. We will absolutely be on top of everything in the morning. We'll be tweeting. I'll probably get on our YouTube here, sending out a live video of the practice as well for a little bit here and there, a couple minutes capturing some team drills is what I'm thinking. And so, any guys out there, you guys are looking forward to watching or interested with camp? I'm a big Noah Gray fan, so I want to see some Noah Gray in action, see how that looks as far as in camp right now. But I would capture as much as we can while we're out there. Any thoughts on camp, you guys, before we move to the next area here?
No, I'm really excited. If you're going to ask me the one guy that I'm excited to see the most, it's got to be Willie Gay, because I know we kind of took a risk on him when we drafted him, and I'm kind of a high risk, high reward guy, and so that's probably the one guy I'm excited to watch the most is Willie Gay.
Yeah, and one of the commenters here was just asking if we talked about Noah Gray for the tight end for the Chiefs, who's been making noise. That's the guy I'm excited to see, to see exactly how he's progressed. I watched some film on him. I watched some other YouTubers actually do some more film on him as well, and he looks like a total different character. The way he's running routes and the highlights and stuff like that, it does not look anything close to he was at Duke, and it's awesome to see.
I think Noah Gray's pro ready. I think he's the perfect guy to have backup Travis Kelce, because Kelce never in his career has had a backup tight end worth a damn. And so I think for the first time ever since 2013, the Chiefs have a legitimate number 2 tight end in the receiving game, at least, I should say. I mean, because they've had the Nick Kaisers and the Blake Bells is still there on the roster now, and those guys have their purpose. But Noah Gray's the receiving tight end we all want.
With the way Noah Gray is playing right now, Travis Kelce, of course, this puts a lot of pressure on Blake Bell, who came back from the Cowboys, and Jody Fortson. So, that's two big not all 4 of those guys are going to make that squad. I had all 4. I'm rethinking it now. You're going to have Blake Bell or Jody Fortson as your third guy.
Yeah, it'll be,
and that's it.
It'll be Bell, because they need a blocking tight end at the end of the day. So it'll be not being Bell. Bell will make the team. To your point, Jason, Willie Gay is in concussion protocol right now, so it'll be unfortunate if he's not on the field tomorrow. I'm assuming they're going to take it easy on him, so we will find out.
You can see him in the tent, I'm sure.
You can see him in the tent with Tyreek doing their tendonitis thing.
I think I'll just watch him and Tyreek the whole time doing their
just watching the tent.
Let's check them out. Well, okay, guys. Anything else around the league you guys want to talk about? Because the Colts situation. I had the Colts as we haven't gotten to the Colts yet in the AFC South.
Correct.
As you guys know out there, that's been following us for a while, we're covering every division in the NFL leading up to Week 1. We're going to skip out this week. We'll be back next week with the NFC West. But the Colts were a team I thought were going to probably win at least 10 games in a 17-game season. I think that would make sense, especially with the running game, the offensive line, decent receivers, and then hopefully Carson Wentz can pull his head out of his butt.
It's still a great defense.
And it's fine. Yeah, the defense is good.
The defense is going to be good.
But look, if they're going into the season at this point without Carson Wentz, and you're going to assume he's going to miss half the, I'm assuming he's going to miss half the season. And obviously the guard as well is going to be out for at least half the season as well. This was an injury that happened in high school. And now it's coming back again in his life. And it's I think his career's done to me. If you're Carson Wentz, you're fragile, you're done. I don't know what else to say about this guy.
So, right quick here. So, I pointed out on my solo show that if Carson Wentz is healthy, that's a top 10, top 12 team in the NFL.
I agree.
And right after I said that, he got injured. So
Are you
I
a jinx?
jinxed the guy, basically. But this is all over the news today, guys. I don't know if you heard, but they're already talking about Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement. He technically has a dad bod right now, and they're talking about him coming out of retirement and running the team, and that might be their best option.
That is their best option.
But I mean, you're
That'd be
looking at
hilarious.
a guy like Carson Wentz. I mean, he was an MVP caliber player, and now all of a sudden I'm starting to compare him to kind of like the Anthony Davis of the NFL. Like, he's kind of an MVP caliber player, but he sucks because he gets injured every year. And so
I want to see a 250-pound Phillip Rivers coming out and chucking that ball
Lord.
to Michael Pittman.
And he'd still play all 17 games.
Oh yeah, he won't. Here's the thing: Rivers won't get injured.
He won't.
He'll play every game. I mean, we already know that.
He'll still be out there.
He'll have a baby at halftime, and then he'll
Yeah,
still
Gosh
play.
darn it.
and I understand that. I would love to see the dad bod, but I also have sources who have told me that Carson Wentz might actually be ready for Week 1. I, for the life of me, cannot believe that bullshit. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. But they're telling me either Week 1 or Week 2, Carson Wentz could play. But I'm writing him off.
There's no way.
I'm writing him off, and I want to go on record right now. His career is over. I don't care what
Yeah,
you guys
I think
think.
it's over.
His career's done. They can say he's going to play in Week 1, 3, 5, 7, 100. I don't give a shit. His career's
He just needs
over.
to pull Andrew Luck and get out of there.
Yeah.
Get out.
There was also rumors of Andrew Luck. Let's be a great time for Luck to come back.
There's
but
another dad bod for
we
you.
should-
So
Hey,
we should take
speaking
a
of
vote.
dad bods, Jake Cutler would
Can
be
we
a
do
great
a poll
option.
right now on the show? Which dad bod would you rather see? Andrew Luck's beard or Phillip Rivers' fat
That's
ass?
a
I
rough
don't
one. We
know
should
which
post a
one.
Twitter poll for that.
Yeah,
Tanner.
I'll throw that up on Twitter, guys. If you see this here, it'll be on for, we'll do it for 1 week so we can talk about it.
Which dad bar would you rather see come back for the Colts? Well, also Jeff George is probably still playing or wants to play.
Oh, you
somewhere.
know
I
he's
mean,
still ready. He's what,
yeah, I think
56
he's
probably?
60 by this point.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I think he could probably come back and do something along
And the
those
sad
lines.
thing is like Vinny Testaverde is probably better than all of them at this point, even though he's like 65 years
Vinny
old.
Testaverde. Yeah, I mean, honestly, our modern day Vinny Testaverde is Ryan Fitzpatrick to me. I think he's the modern day Vinny Testaverde.
I agree with that. He's going to play forever.
He might play forever.
He'll play-
with 12 different teams by the end of it, like Vinny Testaverde did. But hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick's actually still, relevant. He's still a good
serviceable.
player.
That's what we call
Service-
shitty quarterbacks
Hey.
on this show is serviceable.
I've been watching the dude forever, and I've seen him beat the Chiefs before, and I was pretty pissed off. I'm like, how do you let that, no talent Harvard effer run around like that and beat the Chiefs and scrambling around and shit?
It's just,
but
it just blows my mind, like, this whole situation. Now, the Colts have many different options. They can go this route, too. If they want to go after and trade somebody, they already talked about trading for a Big Dick Nick, because, I mean, the Eagles won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, so why can't, and Carson Wentz got hurt, why can't he do the same
You
thing
called
with the
him
Colts?
Big Dick Nick?
Big Dick Nick.
Big Nick,
I think that
Big
Dick got small over the last couple of
Well,
years.
yeah, he went to
the
He's not gonna
Bears.
do shit.
I think Foles could still play.
Foles could still play. Now, there's another guy situation going on right now down in Jacksonville that's under with Andrew Lawrence, the Minshew, the mustache.
You mean Trevor Lawrence.
Andrew
Whatever.
Lawrence. Why do you say Andrew?
I'm not a big fan of Lawrence right now.
You don't like Trevor Lawrence?
I think Minshew should start
Why?
because he has to.
He was the number one pick, and we've been watching training camp, and Trevor Lawrence looks good.
He had a
I
couple
disagree
of
with you, Tanner. Trevor
So-
Lawrence actually threw a really nice pass to Tim Tebow.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh yeah,
And so that
It was a good
I don't
pass.
give a shit about Gardner
So
Minshew right now.
Minshew should get traded up to the Colts as well, and that could be a playoff team right there.
Ooh, I like where your mind's
So,
at
but
right
I
now.
mean, Jacksonville's also going to ask for a bunch. Minshew wants to start, obviously. He doesn't want to be number 2. Already announced it. So why not take a player instead of hurting your franchise, hurting the chemistry? Take him some of the Colts. He's going to go start.
the Colts got to work fast though. They got to do. They
Oh,
got to
they gotta
think
do
of something
something quick.
quick. They got to make something happen here. So
That Twitter poll is out. If you are watching live, that Twitter poll is up. So please go. Which dad bod would you rather see on the Colts this season?
all right, guys, let's move it right along here. So we have a couple games to play here. We got a couple things to do. So Jason, I'm going to let you open a pack of cards. Actually, I'm going to have you open a pack of cards because Jason has found a steal of a deal at was it CVS?
CVS Pharmacy, yes.
And you're going to open up a pack of cards. So, Jason, you collect cards. Tell us about your card collecting history.
I have collected cards since I was about 9 years old, and it never amounted to shit until the last couple of years when Patrick Mahomes came up through the league, and he didn't make me rich, but he made me a shitload of money just collecting his cards. So this is a pack of 2020 NFL, and so I'm going to go through this real quick. It's interesting. I've opened 5 packs of cards. There's only 10 cards in a pack, and I've already pulled out Henry Ruggs rookie cards. I pulled out 10 of them in 5 packs. So
nuts. And they're almost all different. They're like all different too.
They're all different. So I
amazing.
made my decision. I don't care how high I have to reach in fantasy. I'm drafting Henry Ruggs no matter what.
So it's official. Round 1, Henry Ruggs for Jason Grayson.
We will know soon because after Jason's done here, we're going to release our live draft order on air. Here.
Oh, here, let me...
All right, this is fucking ridiculous. There's another one, guys.
More Henry Ruggs.
Another Henry Ruggs. That's my 11th Henry Ruggs rookie card.
That's amazing. Every pack had a Henry Ruggs, didn't it? Every pack.
I'm just gonna give you guys my advice right now.
Right.
Draft Henry Ruggs in your league.
Oh.
I don't care how many teams are in your league, just draft him because I feel like they're going to force feed him the ball and he's going to explode this year because the Raiders fucking suck. So they've got to just, throw it to one of their best players on the field.
All right, let us know if there's anything special in there.
All right, so we got another Chase Young.
Okay.
Rated rookie, Don Russ.
I like that one, yeah. The see-through.
Good fucking player right there. Another Chase Young in the same pack.
2 Chase Youngs.
Brandon Ayuk. I know you're kind of on the fence.
I'm iffy with him. I don't know what to think of him necessarily.
Oh, there it is. Joe Burrow and Jonathan Taylor. Now, I'm not really high on Jonathan Taylor this year, as you guys know if you listen to my last show, because I think that's going to be like a kind of a 50-50 backfield there. But I will go heavy on Joe Burrow in my draft here. I think he's going to have a great year. And then we got T. Higgins to round it out. T. Higgins.
I like T.
Another
Higgins.
one of both of our favorite players.
I like T. Higgins. He's a good player, yeah.
So that's another good guy to reach on in fantasy.
Yeah, so speaking of fantasy, you guys ready to know our draft results coming in? We draft 1 week from, or 1 month from today, I should say.
Yep, I just shot a quick shared link out there to our group chat.
Perfect.
So we can get them on here, so maybe give them just a second here.
Okay.
Jason, just curious here. What's the best card you've opened in the last 10 days?
The best card?
Yeah, what's the best card you got in the last 10 days?
Well, I mean, you can't buy packs in the stores, so it's
so this
very
is
difficult
this is
to get
it.
that.
Then.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Okay.
So I guess I would say, I mean, I got Joe Burrow. I guess that was the best one I pulled out of the packs today.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And you got a Tua as well, though. You got a Tua.
Oh yeah, I got a couple of Tuas, but the jury is still out on Tua, so I'm not sure about that guy right now.
All right, Mike.
All right,
I think it's time.
Official now. We have now unleashed the draft results. We can all begin mock drafting and preparing our draft strategies now based on our draft picks. So,
by the way, to answer your question, no, I'm not excited right now because I already know I'm number one because I get the number one fucking pick
every year.
You're going to be very surprised because I clicked the button about 1 minute ago.
Oh no!
Yeah, so
that means I'm fucking last, right?
Okay, guys. So number 1, I'm gonna read off the team names. So those of us in our league will know. Otherwise, I will make sure everyone out there, the audience, knows whose team is actually ours for the Buffoons here.
I don't even remember my team name.
Tanner, really? Yeah, it's you have my name in it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Number 1, we have our Too Legit to Colquitt is our number 1. Number 2 is Dumpster Fire, which would be Kevin, as we all know. Number 3, Tanner, is you.
I got a third pick?
You are third pick.
Peyton Manning, baby.
You are third pick. Take Peyton Manning. After that, we have Hollywood Nail, 4. We have number 5, Arizona Football Team, which would be your brother, as a matter of fact. We've had on the show, Connor Dawson. And after that, we have number 6, password is Taquito. Taquito? Is that? I don't know. I can't see the full word on here, so can't really remember.
Right.
So right in the smack dab of the middle is one of our good friends, the other Jason. So number 7 is Tyreek and Destroy. Number 8 is myself. So I am now number 8 on the selections. I now know what I should be mocking at. Number 9, E.T. Phone Mahomes. And then number 10, I Am Legend. Number 11, Blood is Lubricant. And number 12, The Big Butt Fucker.
Are you kidding me?
Literally.
Are you kidding me?
So Jason JG is number 12
That's the biggest jinx of all time.
Oh, my
But
You get the
Lord.
last pick.
on a brighter note, I'm definitely. I think I'm going to get Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook probably by then.
You're
right?
probably
Are
not
they-
going to get
At
are they
12?
available?
At
You're
12?
gonna be at 12?
You're going to go draft a tight end at 12.
Actually, no. Justin Herbert.
Yes, there you go.
Justin
Take
Quarterback.
Herbert at 12.
Quarterback,
Go for it.
round
Good
one
quarterback,
for
for
Jason.
sure.
I would love it. Go for it. So, Tanner? What's your initial thought, real quick, on having the third pick?
Well, knowing the third pick that I had the third pick, now I'm like, okay. So my usual draft strategy, I'm usually towards the middle or late round, so I can go really receiver or tight end. But now I'm early. I got to go running back, and it's going to be running back. So I got to figure out exactly who's going to be there, who do I want. Is it Zeke potentially could be there. Derrick Henry could potentially be there. But also an Alvin Kamara could be there too. Mm-hmm. So those are kind of my top three I'm thinking about. But obviously running back is probably going to be honestly where I'm going to go for my first round.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. I know for me, being at number 8,
And that's weird for me.
I have some flexibility without a doubt because depending on who falls at running back, I could see a Barkley fall or Nick Chubb fall. I love both those guys, even though Barkley had an injury. I don't think Elliott's going to be there. I think he'll be gone before that.
Yeah.
But Tyreek Hill will be there, and that's a guy I could have on my radar. So if I want to go receiver right away after that, then in the beginning of the second round, I'd be looking at guys like, I guess, your Austin Eckler's, Antonio Gibson's, or Najee Harris would be the running backs I want to look at that point. But, Jonathan Taylor could be also an option for me at the back end of the first round. So I've got some things to work with. We have a month to prepare, so I will be mocking my booty off here in the next few weeks. So, Jason, what do you think of number 12?
The most interesting thing for me about pick 12 is that I've never had it before in my whole life. So it's a first time for everything. And my favorite thing about having the last pick in the draft is that I know I can figure out a way to screw over Mike Settle over here, except for the fact that he knows my mind. He knows the way it works. And so he already knows who I'm going to fucking pick. So I'm not going to be able to screw him over this year.
We're gonna do RB0 again, aren't we? We say
No.
We never do running backs.
Screw running backs. We're taking 5 receivers in the first 5 rounds, and then the running backs can go F themselves, and we just don't even touch them.
So you're saying doing RB0. I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think the pendulum is starting to swing in fantasy. I think it's time to go WR0, and I think you're going to see a trend in that
Go
direction.
running back.
I'm not saying that I'm going to start that trend. I'm just throwing that out there as with fantasy, the pendulum starts to swing every couple of years.
The truth is, though, as far as you guys out there listening, the truth is with fantasy right now, there's more good receivers than there is good running backs that you can pick up right now in fantasy. So getting that running back early at this point in stage is important, especially if you can get a guy that handles a full workload. If you can get a guy like if Elliott's in shape, which he is, Barkley comes back, which we know Barkley is very talented, and Aaron Jones is your number one starter kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like where he gets most of the 80% of the workload. That's more valuable than a receiver who is going to get 70 catches for 1,000 yards. So getting your running back early is important still in fantasy right now.
Yeah, I think the other initial thought that I'm having right now is just the fact that I don't have to worry about drafting a quarterback until late because Mahomes is going to be long gone, especially in our league. By the time I pick 12th, I already know he's going to be gone. So I can just sit there and wait, which is something that we always tell you guys to do on this show. You got to wait for the quarterback. Just wait until the 5th, 6th, 7th round because you don't want to reach for a quarterback. That's not a good strategy.
Careful, guys. I was looking at the list just now, and Clyde right now is going in the second round. That would be a steal, in my opinion, as a second rounder. So if his ADP holds up, which it probably won't, it's going to rise.
It's going to rise.
Then I would be happy with snagging that one for sure in the second round.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him top 3, but...
All right, you guys. Well, I'm going to stand up real quick. Those of you following on YouTube, check out our T-shirts, as a matter of fact. Tanner, thank you very much to your lovely wife for helping create these, as a matter of fact.
Correct. So my wife just created some Sports Buffoon T-shirts here with our logo and everything else here. Mike, you can stand fully up if you want. Yeah. Oh, yeah, your headphone.
I got a little stuck.
So it does have the Sports Buffoon, the Sports Podcast at the bottom, just like our logo. It's very creative, very well done. So super excited and thankful for her on that part.
And no, they're not for sale. We're about to play our card game, is all.
Correct.
But
yeah, just to be clear, I would have worn my shirt tonight, but I had to roll with my homeboy. because this is a big football
Right.
show, and I don't care about anyone else right now.
This is the kickoff, in my opinion, to football season. This show right here is the kickoff without a doubt. So
By far.
we're going to play a little game here. So the game is going to go like this. I have these cards in my hand right now. And these cards are going to be, each card has a wide receiver's name on it. These are receivers in the top, the top 50 receivers in all of fantasy football. And so each card has a name, has their ADP on it. We're going to play a game of overvalued, undervalued. So none of us here know who we're going to pick or what's going to come out. I do know the names, obviously, but you guys don't know who you're going to pick. And so I want you guys to give me your honest input on each player you select. We're each going to end up picking 5 in the end. So I will have 5 players, you'll have 5, Tanner will have 5, and we'll go from there. So, Tanner, do you want to do the honors of the first pick?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's go like this. Let's spread them out. And pick a card.
Ace of
Who'd you get?
spades.
Alrighty, guys. I get the ace of spades. Julio Jones, guys, wide receiver for the Titans. ADP 42.
42. That would put him at the top of the 5th round, Tanner, in a 12-man league.
Oh, that's way too high.
High?
This guy's going a lot lower.
As far you think he's overvalued, undervalued?
This is undervalued.
Undervalued. Okay.
Well, the problem is like the guy right below him is CeeDee Lamb, and we're all big fans of CeeDee Lamb on this show.
All right, so if
Right.
I look at it here. So AJ Brown obviously is going to be higher than Julio, so that's a 20-ish.
Look,
21.
he's sandwiched in between Tanner, Chris Godwin, and CeeDee Lamb.
higher.
You put Julio over
I'd put-
Evans and Keenan
I
Allen?
would put, I'd put Julio right under McLaurin and 30. So I think Julio
okay.
Jones should be right around your 30 to 33.
Now, just to be
80.
clear, we're assuming half-point PPR
Correct.
right now. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So Tanner goes with undervalued on the 42 ADP of Julio Jones, right?
Correct.
Overvalued. I thought you said overvalued.
What did you say?
You think it should be higher? You think
I think
it's
it should
undervalued?
It should be drafted sooner.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you think his 42
Oh,
ADP
wow.
is undervalued?
Yeah, I totally disagree with that. I think he's going to get injured and play like 12 games.
The
This year.
gosh darn verbiage is getting you, Tanner.
I know, right?
All right, Jason, you want to go next?
Yes, let's do
All
it.
right, pick one.
Dun, 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 dun,
Grab a card.
dun, dun,
All
dun, dun,
right.
dun, dun.
Ooh.
Who'd be in
DJ
the play?
Chark.
DJ Chark
DJ
Jr.
Shark.
ADP of 98. So right now, guys, I'm going to say he's a little bit overvalued. I understand a lot of people are thinking he might be a candidate for a bounce back year. And while I think that's possible, you got a first-year quarterback in there. And so we all know that he's, Trevor Lawrence, he's going to throw it to Tim Tebow every time. No, seriously, that was just a joke. But I don't trust DJ Chark for an ADP of 98. I'm going to go overvalued here.
Okay.
And that's just my opinion. A lot of guys out there are going to say, oh, well, he's going to have a bounce back year and all this and that. I'm just not buying it right now. So I'm going to go overvalued.
Chark disappointed me last year. I thought for sure he would play better than he did. And here's the thing. The guy right below him is Jerry Judy. The guy above him is Cortland Sutton on the ADPs currently. So that's a tough one.
Chark last year didn't have the best of quarterbacks. Minshew was
Right.
hurt all year
But
long. So.
what I'm saying is give him Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they can work
could
out
be
better.
something different.
Without a
Yep.
doubt. All right, I'm going to go next. Next here, I'm going to draw a card.
Dun, 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 dun,
I have got, John Brown of the
Ooh.
LV Raiders. Not the LA Raiders, not the Oakland Raiders, but the LV Raiders. His ADP is 127, as a matter of fact. So he's towards the very bottom of our list of the top 50 receivers. And I think that this could be a guy that's a little undervalued because he has potential in this offense to get playing time. But I also think that it's fair because I think that the guys above him, like in my opinion, I'd rather have a guy like Jalen Waddle or a Mike Williams
Or Cole Beasley.
Sure, Cole Beasley.
I'll take Hollywood Brown ahead of him.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown, yes. Marquise Brown should be ahead of him, in my opinion. Those are all fair. So I think John Brown's probably a little overvalued, mainly because I wouldn't touch him because I think that the Raiders have more to work with than John Brown. John Brown is who he is at this point.
He's got a little checkered past as far as his injury history, too.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I think he's not a guy that's going to all of a sudden make a big strides and become a
blow
1,000-yard receiver. That's not who he is. That's not what he's ever going to be. I think there's guys with bigger upside that I would rather touch in fantasy.
Yeah.
All right, Tanner, you are up next on the card list.
Dun-dun-dun,
Grab one.
dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun. All right. Ooh, Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin.
Wide receiver for Washington.
All
ADP
right.
is 30. 30.7, technically, if you want to get crazy about it. So
Yep.
looking down
So
here,
the third round.
so some guys ahead of him would be A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Calvin Ridley. Some guys right below him is Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I think he's right exactly where he should be, right around that 30 mark. I wouldn't put him any higher because I think Metcalf, Ridley, Jefferson, and Brown all are going to be potential higher or better picks at the moment. And I wouldn't really drop him below Allen Robinson. So 30, I think he is just right where he's at, and I would not do anything different.
Gotcha. Interesting. All right. Well, Jason, you are up next.
I've got Antonio Brown, wide receiver for the Buccaneers, ADP 117. So my initial thoughts on that is I'm going to say overvalued just because when you think of the Buccaneers, they got a bunch of guys on that team that they're just sitting there waiting to do some things in the playoffs. And so when I'm thinking of it from a fantasy perspective, I'm not going to invest a whole lot on an Antonio Brown at 117. I think he's overvalued. I think he's probably going to do a lot of good things in the playoffs, but during the regular season, you're not going to be able to depend on him. So I'm going to go overvalued.
So that's also guys like right below him are Landry, Randall Cobb, who's back with Green Bay, Corey Davis, Hollywood Brown, and Mike Williams. Like, would you put those guys ahead of him for fantasy value?
Oh, yeah, I'd put a Hollywood Brown ahead of him for sure.
Okay.
I like Brown because we saw him turn it on a little bit during the postseason, and then the Super Bowl kind of touchdown as well.
Okay.
So I think Brown, to me, this is obviously Jason's card, but
Antonio Brown,
I like
yeah.
Brown over guys like Boyd Cooks and Devonta Smith, who's unproven at this point with the Philly Eagles. So let's see what
I just real quick, another guy that is sitting right there, if I could get him instead, it would be Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, he's
at that
right
same
there.
level.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, that's fair. Curtis Samuel's a good player. All right, I am drawing next, and I have ended up with Jerry Judy, wide receiver of the Broncos, with an ADP of 105. And Jerry Judy is one of my favorite prospects coming out when he was a rookie. I like Jerry Judy. I don't really like their quarterback situation all that much right now
Who
because
knows who's
it's
starting?
confusing. It's confusing
Is
what's
it
going
Teddy?
on.
Is it Drew? Is it Teddy? Is it Drew?
And even the fantasy experts out there of the world don't even know what the ADPs because they don't know. Is Sutton going to be better? Is Judy going to be better? Because their ADPs are within 10 picks of each other.
Yeah.
So we don't know who's going to be better one way or the other. I will say Judy performed better in the back half of the season than he did in the first half last year. I think that Jerry Judy should be higher on the ADP list. I think he is a little undervalued. I would take Judy over guys like Deebo Samuel, who's ranked higher,
Yep.
Jamar Chase, who's ranked higher, and I would even take him over Robbie Anderson, who's ranked higher. So I think I would put Judy more in that 90 or 85 ADP range.
Yeah, I agree. Because despite it doesn't matter who's really starting quarterback, the guy's gonna get targets.
Judy's a great athlete, and
Yeah.
he's going to get touches. So
I think Judy's about where he should be on that.
Alrighty, guys. DK Metcalf, wide receiver for Seattle, an ADP of 21.
21.
I was looking for the period here. So DK sitting at 21 on this one, right on the dot. Guys ahead of him, such as Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill. Guys below him, Ridley, Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, McLaurin. I'd say I'd keep him right where he's at. Again, it's another pick here. I think it's hard to go any higher or to be able to pick any higher to move up. But I would not drop him probably any further than 22 or than A.J. Brown to 22. So if you do anything, it's kind of a mixed bag right there in that 21 range between Metcalf, Ridley, Jefferson, Brown. It doesn't really matter the order there, but I'd say he's probably right where he should be because Russell Wilson is going to need a target this year, and he's going to be going straight DK all day.
I'm going to go a little bit undervalued on him just because I know the Seahawks are going to be throwing the ball a lot more this year, more than people are used to, and so I think he could overachieve that, no doubt.
Yeah, I like DK quite a bit. Jason, you are up next.
Ooh, let's go with CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver for the Cowboys. ADP of 42.8. So he's hanging around there with guys like Julio Jones, Amari Cooper. I definitely like him better than Amari Cooper. I can't really think of a guy that I like better than him.
I like Adam Thielen better than him.
Yeah, I guess you can make a case for that. I'm going to go with properly rated on that. I think he's about where he should be.
Yeah, I like CD quite a bit. He's a good player without a doubt. I am going up next here, and the pick is in. And let's see where we end up with here. I got Keenan Allen of the Chargers, ADP of 33.8. And so, I mean, Keenan Allen every year, he puts up numbers. He's been consistent. When he's healthy, the guy does a great job. And Justin Herbert being the quarterback and that pass-happy offense at this point, this is a fitting situation without a doubt. I would take Keenan Allen over Allen Robinson without a doubt. No questions asked. Which Allen Robinson's above him by about one spot ADP-wise. And I'd probably, I mean, with that said, I mean, I don't know if I'd say I'd take him over Terry McLaurin, though. So I think Keenan Allen at 33.8 is properly rated on this. This would be the end of your third round or the beginning of your fourth round. And to me, that is fair for where Keenan Allen should be taken. He's about the same range every year, right?
Correct.
So we know what to expect out of Keenan Allen at this point, as long as he's healthy.
I would say he's overrated just because he's never healthy. I mean, it's very difficult to trust the guy. And, oh, by the way, you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin below him. So I would take either one of those guys all day long ahead of Keenan Allen. But they're pretty close.
Gotcha. All right, Tanner, you are up next. We got a few
dun.
more cards to go, guys.
Oh, Chase Claypool, wide receiver for the Steelers, ADP of 81.4, which actually kind of seems a little low for it, or high for him.
Hi.
So Claypool right now, he has Beckham Jr., Brandon Ayuk for San Francisco, Galladay, and Deontay Johnson above him, all in the 70s. And then T. Higgins, Debo Samuel, Jamar Chase, and Smith-Schuster, all in the 80s as well below him. I would definitely take Chase Claypool ahead. I think if anything, he'd probably go around that 65 mark on ADP. I'd put him definitely above Galladay, Ayuk, and Beckham Jr.
So he's undervalued in your opinion.
He's undervalued.
No, I totally disagree. He is overvalued. The Steelers are going to run the ball big time this year because Big Ben can't throw the ball worth a shit. And he's ranked ahead of T. Higgins and Robbie Anderson.
Yep.
Who has been paired back with Sam Darnold this year.
Watch
more than anything, guys, he's ranked above Juju Smith-Schuster, his own teammate.
Yeah.
Which is interesting to me.
I'm not taking him that high. I think he's a little bit overvalued.
I think you take him definitely above at least Beckham Jr. Ayuk.
You think he's going to put up better numbers than Juju?
Yeah, I think he will. Oh, by far.
I don't care about Juju.
Interesting.
I don't think it was a one-hit wonder with this guy.
I think Claypool's good.
Yeah.
I like Claypool quite a bit. So, Jason, you're up next with the next pick.
All right, we're going to go with Calvin Ridley of the Falcons. He's got an ADP of 21.5. And just looking at it real quick, a couple guys. I actually like Justin Jefferson a little bit better. I definitely like Terry McLaurin better. I actually call him Terry McLaren because I own a McLaren. That's not a joke. I have it at my house right now. I even like Mike Evans a little bit better. So I'm going to go with overrated. I mean, he's got the guy can get injured.
Yeah.
So I don't trust him. But at 21.5, yeah, he's overrated for me.
I think he's rated that. I think he's get that ADP because he's going to be force-fed. With Julio Jones gone, I think
Matt Ryan's just going to force it down his throat.
Calvin's going to have 100 catches this year.
Yeah, easily.
He should. I just don't trust him to stay healthy this year.
Gotcha. All right, I'm going next. And with my next one, we have Deontay Johnson, wide receiver of the Steelers. ADP is 63.8. I am so confused, you guys, with this one. This makes no sense at all to me because we have 3 Steelers now in the top 50 of wide receivers. I already told you guys Juju is ranked below Chase Claypool, and Chase Claypool is ranked below Deontay Johnson. This makes no sense at all to me. I understand there's this infatuation with Deontay Johnson. To me, at the end of the day, this guy is just not as talented as the other two.
No.
And I know we're talking about, we've seen things of him, like he's fast, those kind of things. But like, is he going to be getting WR1 type numbers? Absolutely not.
No, he's not.
Not
at
happen.
all.
I think Deontay Johnson being rated at 63.8 makes no sense. I'd put him under Jerry Judy. I'd probably put him under Antonio Brown.
I'd throw him probably right around that
Like,
Cobb mark, the 122, 123
for
mark.
For me, Deontay can sit somewhere around 100 ADP, and I'd be fine with that. I'm not going to touch him.
He's way overrated.
And
to my point earlier, reports out of Steelers camp is just that they're going to ride Najee Harris into the ground this year. They're going to try to get back to the run game. Yeah. And I just don't see Deontay Johnson doing shit this year. So.
Yeah, especially with an ADP like that. I'm like, the other two guys on the team, receiver, are better anyway. Yeah. Like, I'm not messing with that. So don't take Deontay at 63.8. Tanner.
Mike Evans versus Chris Godwin. 36.5 versus 37.6. I would definitely take Mike Evans over Godwin. Brady has raved about Evans all off season, all postseason. The guy's phenomenal. We know he's phenomenal. He has a little injury bug here and there because he gets the way he plays ball. But I still think Mike Evans is a huge target for Tom Brady. And with Antonio Brown coming back as well, it's going to free Mike Evans up in a lot of those deep shots that Mike Evans likes to take. Godwin, I think he's going to have I think he's just having injury. Like, he's going to have injury issues because that's what he did last year midseason. Is he was out for 3 or 4 games because of whatever hammy or whatever it was. So I think Evans is your better pick at this point. I would not go Godwin, and I think he's just right around that 36.5.
Evans is on a Hall of Fame pace right now. Look at his numbers. Far. He's consistent every year. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah, Evans is good right where he's at, and I would take Evans over Godwin.
Yeah, I think it's a coin toss on that, but you could go. I'd go with.
Well, that's why they're next to each other in the ADPs by one pick, so
Evans.
one or the other. Yeah, I like Evans too.
All right, we're gonna go with Devonta Smith, ADP of 112, and looking at it right now, I mean, I'm gonna go with Devonta Smith for sure. I think that he is. I'm not gonna say underrated. I think he's properly rated there. He's ahead of guys like Antonio Brown, Tyler Boyd, Randall Cobb. I mean, I think as a rookie, it's kind of a high-risk, high-reward play there. So I like him. In fact, I'm going to say underrated at 112.
Yeah, that's a tough call, though, because
I'm going to say underrated.
Like, Jalen Hurts may not even pass the ball that much. The way he is.
And Devontae did have an injury already in camp, so that's something to keep an eye on. But
that's a tough.
He's undersized, but I think Devontae can be a good player in this league, even though he won the Heisman in college. Keep in mind he's a Heisman winner. He is undersized, but the guy, great route runner, can make plays. I think he'll be used actually in the backfield on some reverses and sweeps and stuff like that. So
it's kind of a dart throw, but there's no problem with taking a dart throw in fantasy at pick 112.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like Devontae. I hope the best for him in his career. And last but not least, I got the pick here. Cole Beasley, wide receiver of the Bills, ADP of 125.8. And he's towards the bottom of our list of the top 50 receivers, and he is just underneath Jalen Waddle, just above Emmanuel Sanders. Now, I like him above Emmanuel Sanders.
Correct.
Personally. I think Manny Sanders is about done. I'm over all of his career. He's had his time in the limelight, and I think him with the Bills is going to be fine, but it's not. At this point, he's done with. But Cole Beasley, if we're assuming both these guys play in the same team between Sanders and Beasley, I mean, we're going to assume Beasley is consistent enough to stay on the field, and now he's going to have a different kind of a situation with the COVID situation. As we all know, he's not vaccinated. He's very public about that, and how that takes into effect with the way the NFL has made things difficult on these kinds of players who choose not to be vaccinated. I think that's going to be something to watch out for as things unfold, and so, they're going to make it difficult for him, basically, to be with the team. You can't work out with the team. You got to wear a mask all times, which is not a big deal, whatever. But it's a different situation working with a player that's unvaccinated like that compared to a full team, which is why it's one of those things that's publicly pushed so much within the NFL, anyways, for these teams. They make it as difficult as possible for unvaccinated players to be on the field. So I think Cole Beasley, though, could be rated higher. I think it's probably just right, though, at the 125.8 towards the end of the top 50 receivers.
You think like wide receivers guys like Corey Davis or Randall Cobb should be picked before Cole Beasley?
No, hell no.
So
I think Cole Beasley. I mean,
I
if he
think
plays,
I would take Beasley over Cobb personally.
yeah, I think right now I'd say Cole Beasley would be at least between the 115 and 120 mark. Would be my range.
yeah, if he plays the whole year, he's got to be in kind of like the 115 range.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And I can't imagine him not playing the whole year. I mean, otherwise they're just basically discriminating against him based on his views.
Right. Well, it's not even so much the views at this point. I think it's just the way the NFL's structured things to be so difficult against players that choose the way he's chosen. And so, for me, if this was a season of a normal life, then I would say, hell yeah, Cole Beasley should be ranked higher, and without a doubt. He's also a risk at this point to be taken as well because the NFL makes things difficult. And so, we've seen the rules been put out by the NFL, by Commissioner Goodell. And Beasley's a guy who I will be weary of drafting, even though I like him as a player.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a fine player. He's been consistent because with the Cowboys, Bills, everything been great. And now, his career is going to be interesting to watch unfold as time goes here in the next year or two and to see how things are handled. But
to be clear, though, I do like him better than Emmanuel Sanders just because Emmanuel Sanders, I mean, he's washed. He's ready to retire. So I would take him ahead of Manny Sanders.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, that was a fun little game you played. It was better than just doing a top 10 or top 15 as far as the rankings list.
Yeah.
So, we got to kind of go down the list because receivers, guys, as you know, we run with 3 to 4 receivers in our league. And so it's good to be versatile. It's good to have an open mind about depth. It's good to talk about guys who are ranked in the 150s even and stuff like that, which we'll have much more fantasy conversation as time unfolds within our show here. So
we'll have a mock draft live also.
Yes, we'll be doing a live mock draft at some point here in the next few weeks before our official draft, and we can start mock drafting now, which is cool. So that's something to look forward to.
That's what I love.
Start doing some mocks with your pick. Jason picking 12, Tanner picking 3, I'm picking 8th, and we'll have some opinions as time unfolds with that kind of thing. So, guys, we're going to camp tomorrow morning. I am pumped.
Go to camp.
I've been waiting, counting down the days, and just excited to see these new guys out there, this new line, the rookies that have been just tremendously talked about. Mm-hmm. I'm just stupid excited about it.
Absolutely. So, and it's just been good to get back to St. Joe again. Mm-hmm. Our first time in 2 years, get back again. Feel like home every once in a while. I'm going to go out there. So, it's always a fun experience to get back on and watch the guys on the field. So, any final thoughts before we wrap up our first show of the new studio?
Just to be clear on camp, Mike, do you know if they serve beer out there?
They do not serve beer out there.
They do not. Every time we go there, you ask the same question.
They do not serve beer at camp. So if you want to drink something, you got to bring in some shot bottles, Jason.
Shot bottles. Okay. Well, since I know we can't drink, I'm going to go ahead and bring my whole family out there tomorrow. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, you're right.
Sure, have them come along. I mean, I don't know how you guys are going to fit in my back seat, but
there's a family atmosphere.
Hey,
I'll throw them
empty
in
your
the trunk.
You're fine.
Who's drunk?
No, empty your trunk.
Empty my trunk. Are we going to put your daughter in the trunk, or who's going in the trunk? Okay. Well.
She wants to go to Chiefs camp so she can get my 5th Patrick Mahomes autograph.
They're not doing autographs. They're not doing autographs either, Jason. Do you want to go still?
Not even to my daughter?
Not even to your daughter.
Nobody's getting autographs.
I need to get my 5th.
You're going to have to wait till next year.
The COVID monster said no autographs.
You got to wait till next year.
Well, okay. I'll wait till next year, and I'll get my 5th Patrick Mahomes autograph. That's very exciting.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Don't beat up kids like you did a couple of years ago for that.
Yeah, I did. So. I beat them up.
You got in there.
The great thing is I didn't get arrested, and nobody's ever going to catch me because it wasn't on video.
All right, we're going to be hanging out, by the way, you guys out there listening, at a brewery called, what's it called again, Tanner?
River Bluffs?
River Bluffs Brewing out there in St. Joe. We've never been. I think they have food there or something like that. So we're going to check that out. As you guys know, we are big beer nerds as well. So let's hope they have some Imperial Stouts or IPAs or something.
And we're going to the casino afterwards
That's
to do some gambling.
Not true.
Yeah, we're not
going
to do
that.
But
so. It's a good try, though. We will see how things unfold. But
there is a football card shop in town, so maybe we can go there instead of the casino.
There is in the mall. They have autographs for everyone in the store.
I could get around a football card shop. I could
let's do it.
Let's do that. Let's take a. We can do that. So we'll be hitting up some places. But guys, after camp and all that, we will be doing a quick live audio show of our thoughts and recap of training camp day number 8. Is that right, Tanner?
Yes.
So we'll be doing that somewhere along the way. So keep a lookout for that, and give so we can give our live and thought-honest opinions of what we thought of camp and who stood out to us, and capture some footage as well. So
if you do see us, come say hi.
Absolutely, come say hi to
Jason
the
doesn't
Buffoons.
bite, I promise.
I bite sometimes.
Not that hard. Is that one of those like funny jokes or no? All right, guys, we're done being buffoons. So we're gonna go take a nap, and we'll wake up and go do this again another day. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Give us a follow on Twitter. Give us a subscribe as well on the YouTube. We appreciate it very, very much. We are going to be growing and expanding throughout this whole Chiefs season. Cannot wait to see how things unfold. We're going to have a lot coming forward. So thank you guys very much, and I will see y'all on the next one.
Buffoons outro.
See you guys.